Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kerry and I love all things makeup and beauty related. Today I am so excited because we have got a Colourpop collection to dive into. It's The Legend of Korra. I am in the middle of watching this series at the moment. I really did enjoy the Avatar The Last Airbender series and palette from Colourpop. So I've picked up a few things from this collection, so if you're interested, please do stick around and subscribe. Now, I didn't get everything from this collection, unfortunately. I would have loved absolutely everything, but the things that I did pick up was the eyeshadow palette, of course, the highlighter, which actually, when I took the little plastic bit out, came a little bit smooshed, which is a shame. I've tried to press it back in. It did look perfect until I pulled the plastic off, so just be careful if you've bought this one and you're taking the plastic off, maybe do it a little bit more gently. And the two lip creams. I'm not actually sure if I tried this formula from Colourpop before, the lip cream formula, but I think the colours are pretty nice. I'm hoping to do more than one look, so I will be testing out both of these lip creams. And I do have my new Arttitude Cosmetics brush set to try. I did buy this myself, but I am a brand ambassador for Arttitude Cosmetics, so if you want to save some pennies, I do have a code. If you want to get anything from Arttitude Cosmetics, I have just recently reviewed their Man Eater palette. Now this brush set retails for, I think it's $49.99, but with my code you will save some pennies. It's not affiliated, so I'm excited to dive into these brushes. I will be sticking more with the eye brushes today, although I do have the highlighter to test, so I'm interested to try the different shapes of these brushes and what they are like. But first, before we dive into the first look and testing the highlighter, let me show you a close-up of everything and swatches.
Right now I'm standing in a corner. I see you from across the room. It's kinda crowded here, but I know you see me too. Everybody's singing, oh, everybody's singing, oh. I don't know what it is about you. It must be in the way you move. Just say you want me to. We got nothing to lose. You're looking so old. You're looking so old. Now I'm moving closer to you, and it's getting dark in this room. Tell me what you wanna do. Baby, let me love you, let me love you. Let me love you, let me love you. Baby, let me love you, let me love you. Let me love, baby, let me love you.
Okay, so I do have slightly foundation lips, so I'm going to go in with the lip creme first, and then we're going to see how it wears throughout the video. I have just lined my lips with my Makeup Academy lip liner in, is this Sincere? And I think with the eyeshadows that I'm wanting to play with today, I think this is the one that I'm going to choose because I think it will pair nicely with the colours I'm going to go for. This is in, what is this in? Loyal Friend, and the packaging for this is super cute. Like the packaging for everything with this collection, I really enjoy it. I think I'm actually going to be keeping all of the packaging just because it's one of those, like I kept everything with the Star Wars collection because it's that sort of novelty collector's vibe. But I'm going to go in with this shade and see what we think to this. It is a nice nude colour. I can't really smell anything. Okay, I think I may have used a little much there. Let's just spread this out. Okay, so that feels super soft and smooth on the lips. That feels really, really comfortable. Don't know if it's going to dry down. Like I said, I haven't really tested this formula out before, but that went on beautifully. Okay, so I think I'm going to pick this brush from the Arttitude Cosmetics set just because I don't really feel like there's more of a highlighty one in there. Like I could have used this one, which I think is meant to be a big eye brush, but it's a little on the small side. So the closest one I can get to a highlighter brush is this one. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to go into the gorgeous highlighter called Spirit Wilds. Now I'm only in the second season of Legend of Korra, so I don't think I've come across like the packaging for this highlighter. I don't think I've come across these spirits as of yet, but I'm excited to carry on watching it and come across this. But that packaging is so pretty. So this is a Super Shock highlighter and it is more of that putty texture. I have tried them before, and like I said, mine came a little bit smooshed. It is sort of a marbly design. It's got sort of a pink, a blue and a gold reflect. Now you will have seen the swatch of this. I'm excited to dig into it and see how it applies, and I don't know how it's going to be with this specific brush, but we're going to see. This isn't the typical brush I would normally use for a Super Shock highlighter. I think I've picked up too much now. Oh yeah, I can definitely see all of the gold in that. And when I was swatching it, I could definitely see some little pinky reflex too. Usually with the Super Shocks, I like to use the side of the brush to pick them up and apply them. I just feel like that works better than actually digging in with your bristles that way. These brushes feel so soft, by the way. Like, real soft. I think that is a beautiful highlighter. I might just go over a little bit with my sponge just to make sure it looks like a nice glow. I'm happy with that. I think that's really pretty. It does look the tiniest little bit glittery. I'm trying to see if I can actually see particles. I'm not sure if I can, maybe a few, but I like that, it's nice. And now we're going to dive into the eyeshadow palette, which of course for me is the pièce de résistance to this collection. Eyeshadow is my absolute passion, and I love the packaging of this. The outer sleeve sort of resembles the Avatar The Last Airbender outer sleeve that came with the other palette. I will grab that in a second to compare, but I love the design of this. I think they have done this collection and the packaging really, really nicely. It does feel nice and it does open like a book. I like the artwork on there and on the inside. I think the colour story is beautiful, and for me it does represent, I've got rid of some bits. It does represent, so far for me, the Legend of Korra series, so I'm really happy with that. I like all the different shade names. I like Airbending, Rebel Spirit, Endgame, Move a Star. I like that we've got different textures in here. There is a Super Shock up here. I dug my finger into this one, not realising. The shimmers are beautiful. There was a marbly shade down here called Future Industries, which did swatch sort of reddy black, which was nice to see. And then I think Pro Bender is like a matte with a lot of sparkle in it. And you do have the 4 different indentations that I have kind of ruined a little bit now for the different 4 elements. Now the Avatar The Last Airbender palette, like this series, hands down beats KORRA for me. Personally, I just preferred this one. I still enjoy watching KORRA, but this series, if you haven't seen it, check it out, because I watched it with my daughter, but I really enjoyed it. And this is what the outer packaging looks like for this one, and on the inside, again, it's sort of a similar vibe because obviously you've still got the 4 elements, but I feel like it's different enough from the new palette. Now they are different sizes, which makes me a little bit sad because I like it if they're the same size and they can sit next to each other. However, you can see the similarities. Obviously there's going to be red for the fire bending, green for earth bending, and I nearly said blue bending, no. Blue for water bending and yellow for air bending, and you can sort of see this one is a little bit more muted and toned down, although the blues do look fairly similar. This one is a lot more vibrant, I'd say, more colourful, more, you know? Am I sad that I've got both? Absolutely not. Now, the quality of this one was fantastic, so I'm hoping the quality of the Legend of Korra palette is going to be just as good. We do have depth in this, we have some nice bright tones, we have a variety of shimmers to choose from. I'm excited to dive into this. Obviously the deepest shade in this is either going to be Pro Bender or that deep matte blue with no sparkle, which is called Change. So I'm thinking today I maybe want to stick to the blues and the greens for this look, and then for the other look I can do the more warmer tones on this side. Now I'm just going to prime with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, and everything that I'm wearing in this video makeup wise will be linked in the description box down below, and some of those links are affiliated, so if you do shop through those, thank you for supporting my channel. Let's use one of these Arttitude brushes just to blend out this eye primer. I want to get a good feel for these brushes. I couldn't resist them. They've got beautiful green handles. They are quite luxe. The case that they come in is super cute, and the lid, so that is really nice if you are traveling. And obviously there's face brushes as well as eye brushes. I am excited to receive my Singe Beauty brushes. They should be here soon, hopefully, if Royal Mail stop being super duper slow. That is the brand that Angelica Nyqvist, the beauty YouTuber on here, has started, and I do really like to watch Angelica, so I'm excited to get those brushes and see what I think to those. Very, very nice quality brushes so far. Of course, I will update you in a future video because obviously I've got to wash these, I've got to use them with IsoClean, use them on colour switches, but I will keep you posted on my thoughts about this brush set. And this one looks like it's going to be perfect for cream contour. I do love a brush that is this shape, and that looks like it's just going to be perfect for that. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to stick to the blues and the greens for this look. So I'm going to start out with the deepest blue shade, which is called Change, which is here. And I am going to work with this blue matte as well, and maybe these two matte greens. As for shimmers, I haven't quite decided yet. So I'm taking that deep blue called Change, and I am just going to pack that toward the outer corner and see what the pigment is like out here. If you haven't been on this channel before, I do really like depth in a look. I just feel like it adds a lot of dimension and flatters the eye depending on what shape and where you place everything. There's quite a bit of kick up with this shade, which I don't really mind because it is super pigmented, and that blue, yeah, that is giving me a lot of depth, which makes me very happy. I can't really tell you what brush I'm using because they are not named, which I do wish they were named. It just makes it a little bit easier. I'm sure there's a good reason why they're not, but yeah, that's the only bit of feedback I would say so far about the brushes. That blue has packed on so beautifully, and I do really enjoy generally Colourpop's formulas. I do think they are good on the whole. There are some formulas that are more outstanding than others. I don't really think I've been disappointed by anything from Colourpop apart from one shade in the new Hocus Pocus palette. I did do a video on that, so if you're wondering how I felt about that shade, please do check out that video, but I'm really impressed with this blue. Then I'm going to go into the lighter blue, which is called Water Bending, and I am just going to tap it on the edges of that deep blue to begin with before I start to work on a blend. Then I think I want to put the green shades toward the inner corner area. I think that's my plan. Don't want to do something crazy and intricate with this first look. I'm just testing the blendability of the shadows, see if we get any patchiness or any issues. And so far, apart from the kick up in the pan, everything is working so beautifully. There does look to be a tiny, tiny bit of shimmer in this water bending shade, just ever so slight particles, which doesn't really bother me. You can't really see it when it's on the eye. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed the Avatar The Last Airbender series, and it was actually Colourpop bringing out their previous palette that made me watch it, because I didn't even know it existed until that point. I don't think I ever had Nickelodeon as a child. So yeah, I didn't really know about that, but watching it, I was a little bit obsessed, I'm not gonna lie. I do quite like a cartoon, and I really like the characters, the whole story. If you've watched it, please tell me what element you are. I am an earthbender. Look, I don't care if that sounds sad, it makes me very happy. I think my second favourite element would be water bending. But I mean, it's quite nice if you get to be the Avatar, because then you get all four. Just deepening up again with this deep blue. I don't want to lose any of the pigment, and just making sure the blend between these two shades is how I want it to be before I move on. And I will just wrap those shades onto the lower lash line as well. I do really like connecting up the outer corner so it matches. That is generally what I do with most looks. So I'm just laying down that light blue first, and you can really see how vibrant it is when I'm not just using it as a blending out shade. I'm just laying this down before I go in with that deeper blue called Change, and make sure that this lower lash line is also blended. This brush is really good for the lower lash line. Like I say, it hasn't got a name on it, which is a shame, but it is a real good brush for what I'm wanting. Now I could have just kept this a fully monochromatic look and kept it fully water and water bending, but it's me and I can't resist a green. And no, that is not the only reason I'm an earthbender. I just think it's cool. Now I do blend out the blue edges, but not too far, because it's never really going to blend into my skin tone that well. I do not have a blue undertone. So I will blend it, but to a certain point, and then I'm going to stop. It doesn't have to be absolute perfection, because whatever is absolute perfection on this channel, but as long as I'm happy with it and it looks nice, and I feel like that looks vibrant and gorgeous and a lovely blue. Then I want to be using the green, so I'm going to start out with this green and then blend it out with this lighter green. So earthbending first, again, kick up in the pan, and I'm just going to sort of stamp this when I actually pick up on the right part of the brush. I'm going to stamp this through the crease before I blend it out with that lighter green shade. Sorry if things look a little bit different. My memory card decided to tell me it was full with no pre-warning, so that was fun. So I'm just going to carry on blending out this green with the lighter green and really pack this in the inner corner area as well, but I will be more than likely going over it with some sort of shimmer. And I might blow out this side a little bit more with the lighter blue, just to make it a little bit more dramatic and intense. So I did just cut my crease with my P. Louise base before I go in with the Super Shock shadow called Rebel Spirit, which is this sort of white blue pretty shade down here. And I'm just going to pop this toward the inner corner area to begin with. Gosh, this is very putty-like. I forgot what Super Shock shimmers were like. Okay, that has brightened things up nicely near the inner corner, but I do think I want to go into a little bit of the shade called Air, which is sort of a bright white shimmer, just for the very inner corner. Let's just pop this right here. I've just knocked over my spray bottle. Yeah, that's just added that extra little bit of brightness I was looking for there. It's quite nice and icy. Then I want to go into the shimmer called Endgame, which is this gorgeous one here. It looks a little bit sort of yellowy green, and I'm just gonna pop that on the majority of the lid. Oh, that is a stunning shade. I think that's gonna tie everything together beautifully. Then I'm going to go back into those blue mattes just to tap over the edges of this shimmer, so there isn't a harsh line, but I feel like this Sorry, I'm just pressing my Super Shock shadow back in because it looked a little bit gross in the pan. I feel like this combination of colours is just beautiful. It is earthbending meets waterbending. I keep getting interrupted. I had a little package delivery. It's the new Beauty Bay highlighter palettes, so stay tuned for that in an upcoming video. Okay, I'm really enjoying how this is looking. I think that's it for the eyeshadow though, so let me jump off, finish up this look, and then we'll come back and see what we think. Okay, that is look number one with the Legend of Korra palette. I have to say, let's talk about the highlighter. I am obsessed with how this looks on the skin. It does look very wet looking, very shiny, very, very beautiful, and I'm happy I have this in my collection. I think it is a beautiful addition to this collection, like the packaging. Like I said, I will be keeping it, definitely this cardboard. I will be using this in the next look as well. The eyeshadow palette with these greens and blues, I feel like it came together nicely. I'm not sure if I've got a little bit of breaking up already. Yeah, I have. I've got some breaking up just near the inner corner area leading into the beginning of that crease, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a Super Shock shadow and it doesn't want to be there, or whether I used the P. Louise base and it wasn't happy to be sat on top of that. Please do let me know. Do Super Shock shadows crease in your crease? The other shimmer seems to be fine. It's just that beginning part there that's the Super Shock, which is a little bit of a shame. Maybe I can work with it a bit differently, or maybe that's just how it behaves. Please do let me know. I haven't got that much experience with Super Shock shadows, especially just in that portion of the eye there. I did go in with my House of Boo lashes. I think these are just in the style House of Boo. And I did use my Makeup Revolution and Grinch liner just to line before I put on the lashes because they are huge. And they do have a black lash band, so I wanted to conceal that a little bit better. better. So I did use that liner, and in my waterline I did go in with my Colourpop cream gel liner in Prance, and I just think it tied it all nicely together, the greens and the blues. And I did line my cut crease with my Arttitude Cosmetics Split It Painter's Paradise palette. I did use this light blue here. Like I said, I do have a code to get some money off if you want to get a liner palette like this. This is the one I reach for all the time. I was tempted to go in with maybe the green, but then I thought, no, I'll stick with the light blue. This was very kindly gifted to me, and I use it so much, especially just to define a cut crease or just to add a little bit of something extra, but it doesn't crack, it builds up nicely, and I think that just added a little bit of definition for the cut crease. So I'm really happy that I did that. I think overall it looks super nice as a completed look. The highlighter with the eyeshadow and the lip is super comfortable. I've been drinking a coffee. It's still there. I mean, I don't think it's 100% kiss proof. I do have marks on my coffee cup, but it has sat very nicely. It's going to be interesting to see though what the deeper one is like, because when I'm using a deeper shade, I like it to be kiss proof, because otherwise it's traveling everywhere around my face. So I'm going to be interested to see how I feel about this one. It wouldn't be so bad if it was traveling around with such a nice nude shade like this, but so far it's sitting nicely. It feels really comfortable. It's not exaggerating any lines. So far just trying this shade alone, I'm quite impressed with this formula and colour. Okay, so that's enough of me waffling on for look number one. Let's dive into look number two. So let's go for look number two with this palette, and I definitely want to stick to the more warmer side this time, I think. I definitely want to include this red, this orangey shade, maybe the yellow, play with some more shimmers. If I'm looking a little bit more bronzed than yesterday, I did put some fake tan on yesterday, so that is why I'm looking a little bit more golden. It's getting to that time of year again where I just want to be a little bit tanned, do you know? Even though it's still super cold in the UK, like come on, spring, be a bit milder. So I think I'm going to start out with the shade Firebending, which is the red. And I am just going to kind of pack this over the outer corner area and a little bit through the crease. I don't often play with red eyeshadows. I'm trying to think of the last time that I used a red. Running that a little bit on the lower lash line as well and just connecting that up. But so far that is, I mean, it's nice. It's not the most pigmented red I've ever used. I'm just trying to build it up and pack it on a little bit more. Then I'm just going to fluff over the edges of this red just to disperse it a little bit before we go in with another shade to blend that out. Is that better now or a little bit brighter? I feel like my lights were too low. I'm sorry if they were a bit low and it was difficult to see, but I think that red is quite nice and it has blended out just how I want it to be. Then I think I want to go in with the shade Balance, which is this one here. And I'm just going to tuck that next to that red, and we're going to see how orange it is, because it does look on the brownie side of orange. It's more of a terracotta-y shade, so we'll just see how that looks. I mean, it is called Balance, so maybe it's more on the earth-bending side because it's a bit more brown than orange. I did think it was more fire-bending with the orange, but maybe it's more earth-bending. If you haven't watched these series, you're going to be like, what is she on about? But please, go and watch them. I really enjoyed them. Then I want to go in with the yellow called Airbending, because obviously I've got to use all of the brighter shades in this palette because it's me. So we'll use that yellow and just tuck it in near the inner corner and leading into that orangey brown shade. That is a really nice pigmented yellow. There is a bit of kick up in the pan, but it is really nice. I'm going to put a little bit of that just leading onto the lower lash line as well. But these shades seem to be blending into each other really nicely. And then again, I'll go back through the other shades just to make sure I'm happy with the blend, re-intensify, all of that jazz. Don't want to lose any of this pigment. But I feel like we're definitely going to need to deepen this up with maybe Pro Bender, which is the black matte with sparkles. Maybe that's what we're going to have to use. Just wiggling on the edge of this red just to disperse it a little bit more before I go in with a deepening shade. Then I think I will go in with this Pro Bender shade, which is kind of like, it's not the blackest of blacks I've ever seen, but it does have a little bit of sparkle to it. I'm just going to pop that on the outer corner. Okay, that's definitely giving me depth. Hopefully it's going to build nicely on top of that red. And I'm just going to wiggle on the edges of this black. I know it looks scary now. That's okay. And then I will go back in with the red shade just to make sure it's blended how I want it to be and we don't lose any of that rich red tone. But that is giving me a lot more depth, so that makes me very happy. And we'll just take a little bit to run and connect to that lower lash line. If I wanted the black to be more pigmented, I would have used it first. I just wanted to use it more as a deepening shade rather than just going in with the black first, but it would definitely be more intense if you did use the black first on the tacky base. Just introducing that red again and going over those edges, and I think this is coming together nicely. I do feel like I'm slowly turning into a firebender right now. My favourite character from both series, it has to be Zuko, and that is actually where I got the name for my kitten. That is how much I loved Avatar: The Last Airbender series, like so much. I really enjoyed it, and Zuko is definitely my favourite character. So when it came to naming my kitten, it didn't take much convincing to my daughter to be like, can we call him Zuko? That is actually looking really good. I'm not sure how it's looking on camera, but in real life, it looks pretty blended and smoky and nice. So we have Rebirth, Harmony and Future Industries, which I'm thinking about the shimmers. This one looks insane, which is Rebirth. I really like the look of this one. We also do have Spirits, which I haven't used, but it is more on the neutrally side, which makes me want to stay away from it. So first I'm just going to go into a little bit of the shade called Harmony, which is the shimmery red, because I want to keep this a predominantly red look, I feel like. So I'm just going to pat this over sort of the middle of the lid. I haven't actually sprayed this one. I'm being brave, aren't I? Because I don't really want any fallout. Yeah, I've got a bit of fallout. Hold. Okay, let's resume now. It's been sprayed. And I just want this for the majority of the lid. That is a really nice red metallic-y shade. Then I'm going to flip my brush over and go into the orange, which was called Rebirth. And I just want a little bit of that leading into the yellow near the inner corner. I do like a fiery kind of look, especially when it's as dramatic as this, but of course, anything dramatic is what I am here for. Then the Super Shock shade Future Industries, which is the marbled one. I'm trying to pick up a bit on my brush. I might spray it. And then just have that connecting the matte and the red shimmer in the outer corner. Oh yeah, I can definitely see a little bit of the sparkle. It's definitely a lot more black leaning because there's not a lot of red in the marble, unless you specifically dipped your brush into the red part, but this is just going to bridge the gap nicely. Oh, this feels so sultry. Like, I mean, I knew it was going to be dramatic today, but this is turning out a lot more dramatic and sultry than I had planned. I'm not mad. Okay, I think that's it for the shadow. Let me finish this up and then we'll come back and see what it looks like.
Right now I'm standing in.
I am so happy with this look. I can't even tell you. Look, I did a bad thing. I didn't test the other lip cream, and it's only because I felt like this is more of a plummy purple and I didn't want to put it on with this eye look. And I was like, I know I'm supposed to be testing it like it's the same formula as the other one that I actually did use again today, but I will test it in an upcoming video. I do apologise about that. It was a little bit plummy, and I'm like, I can understand why it is, because on the packaging it's to go with the other girl that I forget the name of now. So it does kind of fit with the theming, but as far as fitting with the palette, like there's not really a plummy colour in this to actually match it. So I hope you can forgive me for that one. So I did use the same lip combination as I did yesterday for that look. And in my waterline, I used 2 of the Colourpop cream gel liners. I think they've reformulated and brought these out again, which I'm like, I love the formula of these Colourpop cream gel liners, especially the black one. It is so easy to use and draw on your waterline. It is insane. So I did use this just for the outer part of the waterline, and then I did use the orange one, which is called, do I even know? Oh, this is the weird one that's called UNTZ. I'm not actually sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that. And the black is called Swerve. And the lashes I used are from House of Boo. These were very kindly gifted. It's the Lucky Dip lash. I don't know if you just like buy them and you randomly get a Lucky Dip type of lash. Does it have actually the name on these? These are the 3D04, but I'm not sure if you can buy them like this or whether it's just the Lucky Dip type of thing. But I just felt like they go super nicely. It's a dramatic look, so it needed a dramatic lash. I really like the way everything blended together. The black with the sparkle built up beautifully on top of the red, and then I was able to add some more red and blend them in together and create this sort of smoky, sultry look. The yellow is nice and pigmented and vibrant. I did like the orange, although it's leaning more on the terracotta-y nude side, so you might enjoy that if you are a nude lover. A nude lover? No, a neutral lover. Let's say neutral because that's safer. I really like this palette. If you couldn't tell, I haven't really come across a shade that's a dud shade. I do find it a little bit more difficult to pick up shades like this, which is called Rebel Spirit. Mine's a little bit smooshed now because it is a Super Shock, but I did find Future Industries, which is another Super Shock, easier to pick up on a brush than I did Rebel Spirit. Maybe they're slightly different in some way. The theming of this, look. The theming of this is why I bought it. I don't actually like to buy makeup that is collabing with something that I don't like or I haven't seen. So before I bought the first palette, the Avatar The Last Airbender, I had to watch the series and know that I liked it before I bought the palette. Is that just me? Is that just a weird little thing that I do? Or do you not care and you just like buy whatever because you like the colour story? Because I can't do it to myself. But yeah, this theming, amazing. If you haven't seen the series, start with Avatar The Last Airbender, then watch this one. Really recommend it. They're on Netflix, and I do think that they've done it justice. The colour story is what I would expect it to be for this series. I think it's really nice how they've put it together. Yes, some of the tones are a little bit similar, but that's because you've got 4 strong elements in both of these series that are blue, red, yellow and green. So I am really happy to see different greens in this one, especially a brighter, lighter green. That makes me really happy. Like, I could have personally missed out this shade, which is called Spirits, which is more neutrally, but if you are a neutral lover, you can use Balance and Spirits together, maybe even a little bit of air with it, and you've got a nice neutral look as well. So I do think this palette is quite versatile. As you've seen, both of the looks I've done have been quite different, and I could as well have done 2 or 3 more that are totally different to the ones that I've already done, so I might do that. Check over on my Instagram, it'll be linked down below if you want to see extra looks that I don't actually film and post on my YouTube. I would say this is fantastic Colourpop quality. That red wasn't the most pigmented I'd ever used, but it was so blendable and it definitely did build up beautifully. I would recommend this palette. I do think it is really nice quality if you've been thinking about it. The highlighter is such a shame that it came a little bit smooshed when I pulled off the plastic. I really do like the Super Shock highlighter formula in general. Like I said, I use the side of a brush to pick it up with, but now because mine's been smooshed and I've been sort of using it, I can see pan already, which makes me very sad because this isn't cheap for me to get to the UK. Like, I'm including the shipping cost as well as the actual product. So it does make me a little bit sad that you can actually see pan already because of the smooshedness. I mean, what can you do? The fact that it is marbled though with the blue, the pink and the gold, I think that's beautiful, and the shade that it actually comes out as works beautifully on my skin tone. I think if you're a little bit deeper than me, you'll be absolutely fine. If you're a little bit lighter, I don't know if you sheared it out, maybe. I do think this suits me a little bit more when I've got a tan because it is on the more goldeny side, but it is stunning and I'm really glad I picked this up. Just sad about the smooshedness. I really wish I could pick up more of the collection. I might actually. If they still have it available when I've got some spare pennies, I might actually jump back on there and get the multi-chrome shadows. There was 4 for the different elements. They look amazing. I don't normally like liquid eyeshadow, but those are tempting me, I'm not gonna lie. And there was some liners. There was 2 liners in the collection, one light blue one and I can't remember the colour of the other one. It's just tempting to get them because I'm in love with the series, but the lipsticks, obviously I didn't try this one because it is plummy. I will definitely try this in an upcoming video, so do stick around and subscribe if you want to see me use this with another look that will actually suit it. But this one, I have it on my teeth, that's fun. You could have told me. Thought we were friends. Really like the shade of this. This was this in Loyal Friend? Yeah, this is in Loyal Friend. The deeper one is called Partner in Crime. This one is such a beautiful nude on me. This is the type of nude that I like to wear. It's just so easy to wear, and I did pair it with the Makeup Academy lip liner in Sincere, and I just think it's a beautiful combination, and it feels so soft on the lips. Like I say, it's not fully kiss proof or anything like that. It doesn't fully dry down to a matte, and that's why it is super duper comfortable. It definitely sort of is a little bit kinder if you've got lines on your lips. It's not like settling into them and exaggerating them in any way. I just feel like it's really, really comfortable, and it looks beautiful on, so I will definitely be picking up more in this formula. Not sure if I'll be heading towards the darker shades of this formula because I still need to test this one and I don't know how much it's going to move around on my face. Obviously this one will be a lot less noticeable, but so far I'm really, really enjoying that. And I've just realised I haven't actually put my rings back on because I tanned last night. I actually need to go and find those. That's not good, is it? Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. Please do let me know what you think to this collection. Let me know what you think to the series. I need to find more people that have actually watched it to talk to about it because everyone I speak to hasn't seen it and isn't really interested in seeing it. So please do let me know if you've seen either of the series and you want to discuss anything. Tell me what bender you are. That sounds like a very odd sentence, but you know what I mean. And don't forget to let me know which look is your favourite. I will say this look is my favourite out of the two. Didn't think it was going to be because normally, you know, greens, blues, they're my jam. Warmer tones are good, yes, but I normally tend to head towards the cooler tones. Obsessed with this look, so happy I get to wear it for the rest of the day. I will have all of my socials linked in the description box, as well as my YouTube membership and my Patreon group. Thank you for everybody that stuck around till the very end, and hopefully you will subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye.